Most people are tracking the wrong things and it's making weight loss feel impossible. Here are the 4 metrics that actually matter.
Hello, I'm Charlie and I'm the co-founder of Potentia Coaching, and over the past 3 years we have had over 500 transformations. If you're looking for help with your weight loss journey, there is a link in the bio below. Just click that and fill it out.
So when it comes to weight loss, some people are going to be tracking way too much and it's just going to kill your progress. I feel like if you try and track everything, it's going to lead to a little bit of information overload, which can lead to anxiety, overwhelm, stress, and basically resulting in you not staying consistent. Most metrics are just going to be noise. It's just data that, let's say, a coach could look at and they could understand that a little bit better, but it's still not going to be the thing that's going to cause the result or the best thing to focus on. Between tracking for progress and then there is also tracking for punishment. And the biggest thing that I have found, especially when we first launched Potentia, and this is slightly off topic towards weight loss, but it kind of links up with tracking too much. I would have a spreadsheet for every single thing that we would have in the business. I would try and track everything, keep on top of it. Once we switched to using a scorecard, which is kind of like a tracking metric, I've been able to keep on top of data so much better. It's more all in one place and we're only tracking the things that are actually going to be moving the needle for the business. That's how I want you to look at weight loss. What is going to help you lose your weight? The first thing that you want to look at, metric 1, is body weight. Now, this has to be done correctly. So if you're going to step on the scales once a week, listen up. We need to change that. What I want you to do is weigh in daily. Now, the reason why I'm saying daily weigh-ins is because of how your scales fluctuate. They will fluctuate for so many different reasons. That can be carbs, salt, hormones, sleep. That's all going to have a big factor on how the scales move. If you're taking every single weigh-in across the week, then divide it by 7 so you can get the average. That will get you a better number of how the week's gone. Let's say you were only weighing in once a week and you step on the scales on a Friday, the night before you had a carb heavy meal, you've not managed to go to the toilet, you had a poor night's sleep, and them scales have gone up. It's going to result in you thinking, this week has gone so wrong, I've failed, what's the point in me continuing? Then the next metric that I would look at is your progress photos. The reason why I'm going to suggest this is because sometimes the scales don't move, or sometimes the scales actually lie to you. Just, let's say they've gone up a couple of kg because you're on your period, or you've had a week where you've just had more carbs than normal and somehow the scales have gone up because of the water retention. But you then take a progress photo once a week and you can compare them side by side and see the actual changes. You'll be able to see the change in the weight loss, because even though the scales can lie to you, if you're consistently eating in a calorie deficit, you are going to be losing body fat. If you're in a 500 calorie deficit, over a week, you'll lose 0.5 kg of body fat. If you do that over a month, you'll lose 2 kg. If you do that over, let's say, 6 months, that's 12 kg gone. From month 1 to month 6, you're going to see a lot of change. Let's just say, when you get to month 6, some reason the scales have jumped up 4 kg and you start to panic and think, oh my God, I've gained all this weight, but you put a comparison photo from the first month and you can see massive changes, or even from month 5 to month 6, then that's going to help keep you on track and help keep you pushing towards the goals that you're working towards. So when it comes to actually taking your progress photos, what you want to do is do them in the same sort of spot, same sort of lighting, keep it consistent, because if you're doing one in upstairs against the white wall, then the next week you're doing it against a dark wall, light obviously bounce off the walls differently, so it can cast different shadows. You want to do it in the same type of underwear, especially if you're a female, because let's say bras, they could sit on your back different, so one bra could make it look like you got loads of back rolls, but the other one could look perfectly fine. So if you can keep that consistent throughout, then you can see the visual changes that way. So the way that I would do my progress photos is first thing in the morning. I would try and go to the bathroom before them. I wouldn't have food or drink before them. The reason being is a little bit of food could cause you to bloat up. If you haven't gone to the toilet, you could be bloated that way. First thing in the morning means you haven't gone through the whole day, you haven't eaten loads of food, you're not tired or anything like that. It's going to be how you wake up as natural as possible. So do it first thing in the morning, keep it consistent, make sure it's really good lighting. If you've got someone that can take them for you, great. Do front, side and back. If you haven't got someone that can take it for you, you could prop your phone up, have a tripod, set it to record, or put it on one of them timers, which is great. And then what you want to do is every single month from your first ever photo, compare that to like 1 month in, compare it to 2 months in, compare it to 3 months in, compare it to 4 months in. If you ever have a dip in motivation, put them side by side and compare them that way. You could also compare every single month, so you can compare month 2 and month 3, month 3 and month 4, so then you create a good picture of how every single month is going according to your goals. Metric number 3 that I would look at is your protein intake. So why is protein the one macro that I would focus on? It's going to help keep you fuller for longer, it's going to help maintain your muscle mass, and it's got a higher thermic value than carbs and fats. Now, to lose weight, it's all about calories in versus calories out. So how much protein do you actually need? Now, I would look at your weight in kg, or if you work in pounds, I'll do both. And if you're in kg, do it from like 1.6 to 2 to 2.2 grams per kg. If you're in pounds, you could do it 0.7 to 1.2 per pound of body weight. Say you're 150 pounds or you're 75 kg. You can have 150 grams of protein. Easiest way to look at it like that, which should be quite maintainable with fitting them in your calorie deficit. Got to look at it as 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. So 150 grams of protein will equal 600 calories. Nice and achievable, nice and maintainable that way. Metric 4, and that is going to be your steps and your movement. Now, steps are so useful, and what we need to look at is your TDEE, which equals total daily energy expenditure. And that is broken into 4 categories. You have your BMR, which we won't talk about because it's not relevant to this video. And you've got thermic effective food, which we won't talk about because it's not relevant to this video. So we've got 2 more. And that is, you've got your exercise activity thermogenesis, and then you've got your NEAT, which is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Steps fall into that one. And that part of the TDEE equals 15%, whereas calories burnt from exercise equals 5%. There's a big difference. So steps and that type of movement can have much more benefits than going to the gym. The gym has the other benefits that I've spoken about in many videos, so I would go back and watch them. When it comes to setting a realistic target for your daily step goal, basically what I want you to do is look at your steps over a week, take that data and add 2,000 on top of it. So if you do 5,000 steps a day, do 7,000 for the next week. Once you can consistently do that over a couple of weeks, then either increase it by 1,000 or increase it by 2,000. You could continue to increase them steps as much as you want until it's physically impossible to get it in if you want to challenge yourself that way, but work up to a number that feels hard to get in, but you can consistently get in. From 5,000, you could end up getting to 11,000 steps and say that is the cap that you can do. Then you know you've pushed yourself as much as possible in terms of your movement. Then you have to start to take the calories away a little bit. And if you've had a slower week in weight loss and you know that you've stuck to your calorie deficit, what I would actually go back and look at is what your daily movement was like. So look at what the weeks where you had the most progress. Could that have been week 1 and week 2, you're averaging 10,000 steps a day, but then week 3 you averaged 7,000 because it was a busier work week. And you can look at that data and go, oh my God, I've done 3,000 less per day over here, which is why my progress was a little bit slower here. So week 4, I'm going to aim to do the 10,000 again, and you can see that it matches the other 2 weeks. What I would do when looking at your weight loss and these metrics is I would start to adjust them after 3 weeks of no change. If your scales or if your progress photos haven't moved over 3 to 4 weeks, a little bit harder with the progress photos, I would probably give them maybe 8 weeks in terms of change, because from the start of the journey to 4 weeks in, you might not see as much change as start of the journey to 8 weeks in. So if the scales don't move in 3 weeks, and you know you've stuck to most things consistently, then you would start to change things. You can either increase your steps or change your calorie deficit. You've just got to keep it simple, because that's what's going to result in the long-term change. Look at less metrics, focus on these 4 key ones, and you will see the results.
If you like this video, make sure you press subscribe. I'm going to be posting 2 fat loss videos a week to help you with your weight loss journey.